Elephrog, written and illustrated by Lee Hayden Straight. Elephrog was excited. The Mixamal Diving Championships were starting in a week. Woohoo! Elephrog loved diving and was practicing every day. But there was one little problem. You see, having such a big head meant that he made such a big splash, to the dismay of his coach, Coach Crocoduck. "We have to do something about your head," sighed Coach Crocoduck after being splashed for the 100th time. "There'll be no water left at this rate." The next day, whilst reading his favourite comic, Super Slug, an idea came to him. He hopped excitedly over the pond to tell Coach Crocoduck. "Coach Crocoduck, I have an idea," panted Elephrog, shaking the comic in his face. "Look, look!" "You want to be a slug?" Coach Crocoduck asked, rather confused. "No, no," giggled Elephrog. "A helmet. I can wear a special helmet." "That's crazy," Coach Crocoduck replied, smiling. "But I like it." They spent the next 2 hours finding the perfect helmet at Hippopotamouse's Hats and Headwear, then rushed back to the pond to spend the next 3 hours squeezing Elephrog's head into it. "How does it feel?" Coach Crocoduck asked, trying hard not to laugh. Was the only response Elephrog could manage with his trunk stuffed in his mouth. "Right," roared the coach. "Let's get you back on that diving board." The helmet worked like a dream. Elephrog was like an arrow. He didn't make a single splash. Over and over again he dived, and not a drop landed on Coach Crocoduck. "Wonderful, wonderful!" cried the coach, as Elephrog twisted and turned and pierced the water like a gannet. "The gold medal is yours for sure." The day of the championships came, and confidence was high. But the pressure was on, especially in Elephrog's helmet. He felt like all the parts of his face had been squished into one, like a ball of Play-Doh, and he hadn't breathed in 2 days. Coach Crocoduck gave him an encouraging slap on the back as Elephrog's name was announced as the next to dive. "Elephrog, Elephrog, Elephrog." He tried to take a deep breath, but couldn't, and stood at the end of the board. The crowd cheered below as he prepared himself for the perfect dive. He raised his arms and bounced. 1, 2, 3. Up he flew. The crowd oohed and ahed as he twisted, turned, and spun. Hanging in midair, arms outstretched, waiting to drop like an angel, he suddenly felt the pressure in his head reach an unbearable level, as if it was going to explode. Then... pop! His whole body filled like a balloon. "Uh-oh," thought Elephrog before plummeting down like a rock into the water. Splash! Elephrog didn't win the gold medal that day, but he didn't mind. As soon as the pond filled up with water again, he kept on diving. Maybe he wasn't destined to be a champion diver. Maybe he was just born to make a big splash. The